broadcasting live from an undisclosed location in the universe. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live, the show where metaphysics, holistic living, motivation, and inspiration come together to empower your mind, body, and soul. We will dive deep into the realms of metaphysical wisdom, exploring the fascinating connections between mind and matter. Get ready to ignite your inner spark and embrace a journey of self-discovery. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
What's on my mind? Put these headphones on real quick so we can get a better connection. There we go. Those of you who are... So we're broadcasting in two feeds today. We're broadcasting on Facebook and we're broadcasting here on TikTok Live. So those of you who are able to participate, please do so. And if you want to give us some questions, some answers, or you want to participate in the conversation, you're more than welcome to do so. So we're going to be here. Let me double check, make sure I get everything rolling here. It looks like everything's going well on this end. I'll have to check back and forth from time to time. But I'm just here to talk a little bit about, this month is over. This month is complete. This month has come like a strong wind and just knocked everything over, and here we are. So I can't believe it's the 31st already, and we're moving into this new energy. Those of you who follow astrology and different types of modalities, we were in Neptune and Pisces, and now we're going into Neptune's in Aries. So everything is like boom, boom, to the point. Let's get to it. But before we start, I just wanted to share with you guys that I'll be doing some drum circles coming up. Here's some dates for you. April 6th at 12 p.m. I'm going to be at the North Unitarian Universalist Church, and that's near Delaware. So there is an event page for that on Facebook if you want to look it up. And then on the 12th, April 12th, I will be at the Reiki Center at 7 p.m. Those of you who want to know. And then I believe on the 19th, there'll be a drumming at 50 West in Chillicothe at 6 p.m. for those of you who drum with the South Tribe. That's what we'll be. And then, of course, we have our big, huge gathering coming up, which is Ash Cave. That is April 27th, and that's from 11 to 4 p.m. If you've not been to any kind of drum circle and you want to experience a drum circle lifestyle and what happens in these circles, I totally tell you to go to Ash Cave, because you're going to be drumming with 100 to 300 people, depending on every year's just different. You never know how many people are going to go, how many people are going to show up. But regardless, so anyhow, just wanted to share that with you. And for those of you who know, I have written a book. This is my book, The Shaman's Path for Beginners. For those of you who are interested in purchasing this book is there's a link on my website. You can go to iggygarcia.com. You can purchase that book there, or you can go straight to Amazon. Just look up Iggy Garcia, and hopefully you want to invest into yourself and buy this book and learn a little bit about shamanism. Those of you who are curious, and those of you who just want to read some information that you've just not sure about shamanism and what it's all about. So this is actually a really good book for those of you who are new to this type of belief system, this type of spirituality. So there's really deep connections with Mother Earth and all the energy with that. So this book covers that. And I'm on the second book right now, working on that. And that'll be out soon. And then I'm also working on another book. It's Good to Be Here. It's a book about health limits and boundaries. It's also about self-help and self-love. But this is a companion book here. So this is my shamanic coloring book. So if you look at it, it has like different pictures inside of it. And this is good for therapeutic and for relaxing and just, putting yourself to center. And this also has these pages also have, they're like tarot card readings, but they're actually they're like pages. They're like books. So you'll be able to go, every single one except for the mandalas will have some type of something written, like the pyramid: stability, balance, spirituality, journey, integration, cosmic connection, and sacredness. So you'll find things like this in my book, in my new book. So hopefully you will enjoy this book. This has been really popular. I sold out on these books at the expo. You never know what people are going to get into, what they're going to buy, and this is a must-have for those of you who are into shamanism. It's a good book to put into your collection. But like I said, also, and this is my book. This is a story, kind of how you start the shamanic path, and just a really small intro. It doesn't get deep into the aspects of shamanism that I teach. It starts to touch a little bit on those areas, and then eventually what happens is we start to progress, we start to teach, we start to move forward, we start to go into that energy in order to share that. So it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. Like I said, you can find all these things, these books and other books that I have on Amazon. You say, why I'm on Amazon? Because a small person like myself, it's really expensive to actually self-publish. I know there are other self-publishers, but this is one of the biggest publishing companies that I can connect my my chariot of ideas to, until I no longer maybe need it or don't need it. Who knows? But regardless, you support a small business person, regardless if you don't want to support a big endeavor. But you're supporting your friend. That's what's important. You're supporting your friend, the person that the person that has worked with you, drummed with you, shared with you, belief systems and stuff. So those are some ideas. Okay. So hopefully you can come to the drum circle. Hopefully you can make it. I hope you guys can come and drum with us, because it's an amazing thing. If you've never drummed, you're in for a wild treat. So I just want to take a moment just to kind of collect myself and gather myself a little bit, and just think about how this month went. This month was very it was kind of challenging for me a little bit. It really put me in a place where I was surrounded by a lot of water energy. Because Pisces, the energetic energies of Pisces just really can put you in a space like you're almost drowning. Especially for a fire sign like myself, a person who's a Sagittarian whose energy is muted. Who's trying to ebb and flow and move through the energy. Us energies like Sagittarius, we're ready to pounce and go. And sometimes we get in our own way, of course, but that's part of being a Sag. So, and those of you who do astrology and stuff, you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to check here really quick, make sure no one has any questions for me in the comment sections. It doesn't look like there are at the moment, but that's okay. We'll move into that as we go. But I wanted to just share with you that I'm getting ready to move into the spring. Now we're moving into that energy, and I hope you're ready to. Maybe you're sowing your plants. Maybe your things are getting ready, and this is also preparation time for us to sow and prepare and get into our alignment and get ready to plant those ideas and those beliefs. And I'm gonna tell you, if you don't do it this year, and if you don't do it, just don't beat yourself up. Just do what you can, do the best you can. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to have to create and have to be and do something, and we fall short. And that's okay. It's okay to fall short. This illusion that we have to be perfect, that we have to be like this this amazing incarnation of ourselves. Part of being an amazing incarnation of ourselves is falling down and getting back up. And that's what we have to do, and that's what we strive to do. So my thoughts today are a little bit about my journey. I know it's not a big thing to share and talk about, your own personal stories on these podcasts, but I thought it was important to share, in light of how the world is today and all the things that are happening and all the things that how we see the world. I posted on Facebook today, and like I always do, I post something, right? But I posted something that I thought it was time to be posted, because I got to the place where I was getting a little frustrated with the things that were happening around me, just the energies and the way that things were flowing. And sometimes we don't see that because we're in this ourselves, and we're in this work ourselves. And not everybody's going to agree with you, and that's okay. And you don't want everybody to agree with you all the time, because that's not how things should be, and that's not how it should work. But I want to read this to you because I think it's important to read. I think it's important to get to the crux of it and share it. So this is what I wrote today, and you can take it however you want, or you can take it however you feel. I wrote, I consider myself a pretty chill person, but lately I'm growing tired of the hate coming from both sides of the political spectrum. To my so-called friends who say I need to choose a side or we can't remain friends, piss off. That's what I said. We were never true friends if you're asking me that. You can't ask your friends that. That's just my belief. And so I said, let's see. That's Tom Pizza. Then I said we were never true friends. I'm exhausted by the mind games where people dictate how I should think or live my life. I won't drink anyone's Kool-Aid. Go ahead and persecute me if you want. That's what people have been doing to each other these days. Too many remain silent because they fear being berated. And that's what I wrote today. I wrote that today, and I wrote that, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I'm like, why am I afraid? Why am I being afraid of, speaking my thoughts? Why do I need to indoctrinate other people's belief systems because they think that's the way it is and that's the way they see it? Because a mass majority of people see that I have to indoctrinate that. And that's why I was getting really frustrated and getting challenged by friends. They're not really friends. When you tell someone, I would never in my right say to somebody, hey, you have to think this way because if not, we're not friends. Come on, man. I've never said that to somebody. I will never say that to somebody because you know what? I would rather have different points of views in my life than be a robotic, system, and everybody just acts like robots and sheep and just follow along with that. I've never been a follow along with that kind of guy. But I find that lately, if I am not in the status quo of a particular group of friends, then, I don't really fit in. Well, you know what? Maybe I don't. And then on the other side, I don't fit in either. So, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of this thing. And I'm not even on the fence, man, because you know what? Sometimes the rhetoric on one side and the rhetoric on the other side, I'm just like, what the freak, man? What's up with people? What's wrong with people? Yeah, there's problems. I'm not going to say there's no problems. I'm not going to say that there's nothing happening, and I'm not going to go and just say pretend like things aren't going on. But there's just a lot of discord right now. There's a lot of discord. There's a lot of contradiction. There's a lot of hateful rhetoric on both sides. It's not one side. Not one side is, innocent of any of this. And this is why I talked about this. This is why I thought it was important. Not either side is not exempt from have done or behaving in ways that you shouldn't behave. We're in a country, where we have so many liberties that we don't even sometimes even realize that we have so many liberties to even express and share and talk about what we feel inside. The things that we feel inside, we're able to share that because of the constitutional, document, the living document that says that we're allowed to speak and share. You're allowed to speak and share, but you're not allowed to tell me that I have to feel a certain way. That's not going to happen. You're not going to tell Iggy Garcia and anybody else that you have to go this way or you have to lean this way or that way, or you're just this way or that way. That's just the crap that's happening. This is the stuff that's separating all of us. This is all the stuff that the media, the rich, the wealthy, the seen, unseen, that's what they want. They want us all discombobulated. They want all of us to be hateful or to create these scenarios that don't even exist, man. They don't even exist. Some of these things are just the illusions of the appearance of these things existing. Because, when you watch here on TikTok, you watch here on Facebook, people are like, breaking news. I see this all the time. Breaking news. Dude, you aren't breaking nothing. You're just regurgitating the things that you've read, the things that you've been watching, the things that you are assimilating, and then you're just funneling it back. That's what we've been programmed. We've been programmed to funnel back the information that's been regurgitated to us because this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. And if you don't follow this pattern, and if you're not in this group, you're wrong. You're hateful. You're a Nazi. You are this. You are that. And I just hear it all, and I'm going, what is going on in this world? Since when have we've gotten to that place where we no longer are really thinking for ourselves? Because we're not thinking for ourselves, man. We have other people thinking for us and telling us how we need to feel. And that's what I'm watching. That's the stuff that I'm observing, sitting back, going, okay. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here either and pretend like nothing's going on and nothing's wrong. I'm not going to play that card either. But I'm not going to play the card where, you know what, you can only be my buddy or my friend if you have my way of thinking. Well, then we're not friends. We can't be friends. There's just no way. You can't expect me to behave a way that's not who I am. I observe, I watch, and I say, you know what? Some things are good and some things are bad. Some things are bad and some things are good. And that's the way life is. Some people die. You know, every single one of us, every person here on this planet has 2 entry points. Okay? One entry point is we come out of our mom, okay? And then, you know, we live our life, and then we experience life. The other entry point is we go into the ground when we die. Every single one of you, me, you, everybody, there's nobody here who's going to come back from the dead, okay, and tell me a story about what happened. No. So the thing we have to realize is this. Make the best of what you have when you're here, while you're here. You know, you're here on this planet only for a short period of time. Every single one of us, everybody who cries, yells, dies, everybody who's been killed, everybody who you know, looked the other way, blah, 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 you know, everything. How do we want to create a better environment for ourselves? How do we want to create something that we can latch onto? We're latching onto other people's dreams, man. We're latching onto other people's, you know, wealth, other people's desires, other people's ideologies. You think you're unique. We think we're unique. We think that we're special. We're not special. We only think we're special because our mom or our dad or our grandma told us so, or somebody in our inner circle said we're special. We're not special. We are all collectively used and managed and corralled into spaces and to do things the way we need to do them. You know, every single one of you who has a car gets in a car and goes buy a license for the car, gets in the car. You know, you don't just, some of you may drive without a license, but my point is they manipulate, they control us wherever they want. Either side, it don't matter if it's Democrat, Republican. I'm not talking about just Democrat, Republican. I'm talking about the whole world, man. I'm talking about everything, the whole big macro of it, and not just our internal belief systems in this country. This country is going through a flux. It's going through a change. Yeah, you know, change is painful. You know, any change is painful. You know, we saw what happened, okay, and we reacted to it. We didn't respond to it. We reacted to it. Okay, so you don't like a certain candidate. You don't like a certain ideology. You don't like a certain thing. It doesn't mean you have to go but crazy and do things, because that doesn't solve anything, man. When you blow up people's stuff and when you're angry and you're frustrated, that doesn't solve it. It just makes things more agitated. It just proves the point that we are that. And that's what they want. They want us to be dysfunctional like that. They want us to be so angry. They want us to be so frustrated. And I really believe that we want to be freaking angry and upset. And I think some of us really choose and really want to be angry and disconnected and dysfunctional in this energy. And you can do it, but you're going to have consequences. You're going to have ramifications. Things are going to happen to you. Things will be happening. That's the way it is. You know, you want to be a J-hole, you're going to get busted for that. You want to be nice, you're going to be ridiculed for that. You know, you don't win in this life, in the sense that everybody's going to be 100% with you. No one, that's just a farce. So I'm not saying pick your battles. Your battles are picked for you. You just happen to fall into those categories, and you fall into the ideology. It's so combobulated and so mixed up right now that people don't even know how to think sometimes. They don't know how to feel. I mean, I watched an interview, on the news. 2 people in the same place experiencing the same thing and have just completely different belief system of what was happening. Just totally. I mean, I sat there and going, how is this? I mean, like, how is that? You know, I'm just like, how can that be? You know, someone posted here about being off the grid. You know, they don't want you off the grid. They've worked hard to keep you off the grid. That's why they made it in some states illegal to be off the grid, or to even put windmills and collect water off the grid. You know, I remember when big government was like nobody wanted big government, and all of a sudden big government decides that they don't want to deal with it, and all of a sudden all the people who didn't want big government want big government again. It's kind of weird. It's like kind of strange. It's like I don't understand. So it's like it's just the flux and the ideologies and the belief systems and just where we are as human beings and how we grow and how we manifest and what we learned from the last decade and the last generation. You know, a lot of you blame the last generation for why things are the way they are. Okay, fine. You blame the next generation. Okay, fine. You blame them. What are you going to do about it now? Okay, blame all you want. Fix it. How are you going to fix it? What do you want to fix? What do you think needs fixed? Quit blaming somebody for your fucking problems. That's the problem. We go over here and we always say, he hurt me or they hurt me. Okay, they hurt you, all right, but they can't hurt you anymore as you align yourself with the proper people, the proper ideas, and the proper, energies. But I see it so much, these days that everybody wants to blame somebody else for their misery. I'm not saying all you do that, but a lot of people do. I mean, those people. That they would rather, instead of taking accountability for their actions and what they need to do, they would rather blame somebody else because it was a traumatic moment. You know what? I have had so many traumatic moments, and so have everybody on these lives, and everybody on TikTok and Facebook. Everybody's had a traumatic moment of some sort. There are very few people who have not had a traumatic moment where they would say, "Hey, you know what? This didn't really affect my life." But it's a very, very small group. But those of us who have, what do we do? Are we just going to ride the traumatic moment? Because that's kind of what it feels like right now. We're riding the traumatic moment. The traumatic moment that was created for you. Not the traumatic moment. Not the traumatic moment that, that necessarily is yours. Now we're creating these traumatic feelings and emotions of how people should feel. And I'm going to tell you a story, okay? Because I did tell you I was going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story about my interpretation, my version of how I came to America. My aunts and uncle might have their own version, but that's their version. And they should honor and respect that my version is going to be different because I lived my life. I lived that version. I lived it just like you. And to have somebody say, that's not how it was, that's wrong. That's the crux of things that I don't like. Because even if three people were, together, and they all still had a different version how they arrived. Okay. 1969, my dad came to America before us. Okay. He tried to set, the foundation and get us ready to be here. Came on TWA. The next year, I came with my mom, my sister, I believe my uncle and aunt came too as well. And all of us came together. I was 4. I can't remember everything. I can't remember how it all plays out, but we were here. And that we came on a tourist visa. Okay, so I'm going to jump forward because I want to share this with you because when my father came here and my mother, when they came here, and my uncles and aunts, they all got a Social Security card. They all went to because you could do that. They give a Social Security to anybody, as long as they paid into it, right? And my parents went to work. My dad never saw my dad. My dad was working 3 jobs. My mom was working 2. I saw her the most. But they were working because they came with a desire. It doesn't matter who came first or who's the first Peruvian. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. What's relevant is what they wanted to do in that moment. And my dad came here and they all got their they got their Social Securities, and for years they overstayed their visa. What's that mean? Well, in terminologies, that means that we're undocumented workers. We're undocumented people. We are Americans of South America. We're not Americans of North America or the United States of America. But we stayed here and we worked here. Some of you would say illegally, undocumented, whatever you want. Those kind of things don't bother me. Okay. I was an illegal alien. Okay. That's illegal, undocumented human being. Okay. Call it what it is. You call it what you want. In my eyes, I was just a kid growing up with a bunch of other kids trying to do my best. Went to school, learned English the best I could, And, I did what other kids did, just hung out and did what we had to do. And boom, we're here. But then over time, the laws were different, and the laws were, constructed different. In every administration deports people. So don't buy into that crap that, that Trump is the only one deporting people illegally. No, man. This stuff goes on. There's a process. And this is why I'm sharing this story to you. Listen, we came to a point that my dad kind of got political. He got involved in politics, and he ran for mayor of Columbus. He ran in, but he couldn't necessarily vote for himself because he was not documented. But my dad proved the point. He goes, you know what? I live in a corporation of Columbus, so I can run for the office. This is true. Here's the thing. There are laws, right? That say you can't do this and do that. So my dad ran for office. They didn't disqualify him. They just didn't give him enough. They didn't let him put his petitions in. But he could run. They let him run as a write-in candidate. You can do your research. Those of you who like to do research and look up, things. But my dad, yeah, he ran as a write-in candidate against Buck Reinhardt. It was later found out that he did some things with a minor. And my dad proved it. And my dad proved there was cocaine in the City Hall of Columbus. He proved all that. And you know what? And that's what caused him problems. He caused them problems. He wanted to make a better place for myself, my family, and for everybody's family. And my dad says there's drugs in City Hall. I remember passing out these pamphlets, okay? Drugs in City Hall. I remember as a kid passing this shit out. Okay, and wearing the t-shirt with a Buck Reinhardt with a circle and an X across it. Those of you who like Buck Reinhardt, that's fine. That's okay. I don't have anything else about Buck Reinhardt. It was my dad's opponent at the time, and they're both gone. God bless their souls. But that's politics. And so my dad, they ended up calling like immigration on him. And then his case got tied up in immigration law. It got tied up for a long period of time. So, and also it affected us kids. So what happens is, legally by law, the United States government has to deport you, has to declare deportation. There's no, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on asylum. No. In our case, when we were there was a lot of laws that passed that helped us to stay too. I give thanks to the Bush family for that. But, it's funny. We ended up had deportation hearings. I remember going to Cleveland and having deportation hearings. And the first time we were in front of a magistrate, and then, we were talking. And then the next time we were in just over the phone. And we had to collect, just collect every information, who we were, to prove who we were. In school, why we were in school. We were in a Catholic school, so it was like we went to Watterson, and then I remember my dad's like, they're going to deport us all. We're all leaving. We had the restaurant. And my dad goes, we're going to leave here. We're going to go. And I was like, really? And so basically what happened is my dad decided that we were going to, we're going to seek asylum in either in Shanghai in China, or we were going to go to Russia. This is a true story, folks. Let me fix this. This is a true story. This is not, I'm not making this shit up. This is real. We were going to not defect, I don't know if you call it defecting, but we were going to go to Russia. We were going to go either to China or Russia. This is my dad. But I was like, okay, they don't want me here, fine. Because they used my dad. My dad worked for the CIA. My dad also was used by John Kasich to do, and do some investigation of people, that my dad knew and my dad played soccer with. These are stories that come up later. You just find out later. So that was bad for America. That looked bad. Maybe not on the news, but it looked bad for the people who promised my dad a lot of stuff. They used him like a tube, he said. My dad said they used you like a tube. And I remember going in the courtroom and the judges saying, you guys are all going to be deported, blah, blah. My dad's like, well, we're not going back to Peru. We're going to go to here. Oh, we don't, well, it was like, it was a done deal. We didn't want to go. Us kids did not want to go. Like, my brother was born here, and he was like, I don't want. What am I going to do? What am I going to do in Russia? What am I going to do in China? Whatever we decided to do. But my dad was hell bent to go, and do that because he had an agenda and a point to prove in his thinking and his ideology. And I mean, I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't want to go. I remember when the judge, was there. I said, I don't know anywhere else. I don't know Peru. I don't know, Russia. I don't know China. And you guys want to kick us out. And, so we had to, I don't know how you would say this. We were found deportable, but yet, because we went through the proper channels, this is the key thing. It's because we went through the proper channels of self, submitting ourselves to the court, I guess, to immigration, that we were complying. And so that helped our case. So they gave us a temporary permit to stay. And then we sat with that for about 2 years or whatever, I forget. Then I remember in my sophomore year, once the judge, ordered that we can stay permanent, like a permanent resident, they gave us our green cards. They were called green cards. That's what they were called. I'm not having no shame in that. It was a green card. I had my green card. It was a little card, and it has like these lines on the fixtures, and it was a green card. My sister had one. My mom had one. My dad had one. All of us had one. My brother didn't need one because he was born here. And he was kind of like the anchor baby, per se. He kind of helped us stay as well. His status helped us stay. So I'm thankful for my little brother. And then my little sisters, too. Of course, they're here, too. And then, they were all anchor babies, too. And so, basically, in my sophomore year, I got my green card. And then in 1990, I think, I got my citizenship. I remember going into there, and I had to take a test. The test wasn't hard. The test was real simple. They looked at me, they're like, who's your congressman? John Casey. Okay, who's the president of the United States? Bush. Who's this and who's who's the 16th president of the United States? They ask all these questions. Where is the capital of America, the United States of America? And then you say Washington, D.C. And that was it. And they said, okay, thank you very much. It was not like no congratulations there. And then you get a letter in the mail, and the letter says, okay, you've been given permission to stay. You've been naturalized citizen. You have to come and do your pledge. You have to come. So I had to go downtown, and I was there with a lot of people, and we just had to pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That is what kept me in the United States of America. That phrase, I said that to the intake person, and they were like, "Oh, that's awesome." I mean, I don't know what they thought. I mean, I grew up in a Catholic school, so we said that, and it's like not a big deal. And when I was a kid, we said it all the time in public school. But that statement, I believe to this day, is why I'm here, why I was allowed to stay in America, because I knew the Pledge of Allegiance, because I had respect for the United States, for who they were. I wasn't trying to recreate the United States in my image. I knew that I came to the United States to be part of the United States. I'm a naturalized citizen, so I am property of sorts to the federal government. I don't belong to Ohio. I don't belong to any state. I belong to the federal. And a lot of people don't know that. Like a lot of your states, those of you who are born in your states, your first citizenship is the state that you're from. And then you're part of the union, which is really fascinating stuff. And so, I got my citizenship. I got to stay. But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a sad story of sorts. It took my dad 32 years to get his citizenship, because they didn't want him to leave. Like, they didn't want him traveling around. And they used my dad. They used my pops. And, he had no problem with it. He thought he was up. My dad's probably one of the most patriotic people that I've ever met in my life. Almost to the point where it's just like, damn, really, Dad? It's like, but he loved America. My father, he would die for this country. That's my dad. And that's why he got to stay. That's why he got to stay. Because, he loved this country. I love this country. This country is giving me everything that I have. This country is giving me a podcast. I can podcast. Yeah, now you can podcast everywhere. But I'm able to say and share what I'm feeling in my heart, what I'm talking about, what's in my heart, what is going on in there, what I'm feeling. You don't always get that opportunity to do those things. We take for granted sometimes the things that are right in front of us, these things that are given to us, these things that we think that we're owed. We're not owed anything. The only thing we owed is knowing that this is how we feel, and this is how we need to like honor and respect. At least give some kudos to the place that has birthed us all to grow. This country is outside the norms. This country is not like any other country. It has its own destiny. It has its own journey. It has its own thing, which is amazing. It's beautiful. And all the people that are in it is what even makes it even greater and better. And that's something that just totally, hits my heart. When I watch things play out sometimes in this world, and when I watch the news, which is so filtered and so manipulated, these days, it makes me sad. It makes me sad because it's like, we can do better, guys. We can all do better. I'm not saying we're not doing well, but we can do better. If we want to create, we've given so much power of our power away to the people who sit in these chairs in these offices, all of them, even the ones you love, even the ones that you think are great. Every single one of those people. The Constitution, and the founding fathers, when they wrote that, they never really were thinking about people being, making a career out of politics, career politicians. No, you found somebody in your community and you sent them. My dad went to Washington. He went to the inauguration of George Bush Sr. Why? Because he's a Republican. My dad's a Republican. I have no shame. He's a Republican. That's fine. That's his life. That's his choice. But he got to go to the inauguration. I'll always remember this story. He had a Maserati, like a used one that he bought at an auction, and he put the inauguration plates on it, and he just speeding down the road, and he got pulled over, and when the highway patrol got out, they saw the plates. They're like, keep going. It was like diplomatic immunity. There was nothing you could do. And I still think I have those plates, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to look for them now that I'm thinking about that. But anyhow, it's just one of those things that's really cool. My dad had those inauguration plates. He got to meet Margaret Thatcher and all these, all the political people of his time that he was, connected to. But we're here now, and what we do now is really up to us. We have to decide what is good for us. And sometimes, the things that we think that are good for us, it's not. So you really have to observe. And, those of you who decide that you're going to go one direction or the other, you just do what you want to do. Just do no harm. The only thing I ask is we to do no harm to each other. Because the last thing we want to do is hurt each other or hurt others or be destructive to others just to prove a point or to prove that, that doesn't help. Maybe in the old days that would help, but no, that doesn't help anymore. That just turns off a big segment of the population off, because that group who's violent like that is a small group. Yeah, you may agree with them and you may align with them, but it's still a small group. It's a small group of people who causing chaos in the mess of things, the things of, that we're part of. So anyways, I wanted to share that story with you because, a lot of you don't know my story, don't know where I come from, or how I came to America, or how I, became part of this beautiful place. I love this place. This place is amazing. I've been to Peru. I'm from Peru. But you know what? I don't know if Peru has the same feel that I have here. I can do things here that, I feel like would make a huge difference. I'm not saying that Peru doesn't do that, doesn't offer me that, but Peru, just traveling and being there parts of the time, I don't see that as the same as I see it here. I don't feel that. there's always like a disconnect when I go to prayer. There's always a feeling that, you know, you're not safe, in the sense of not that you're gonna be hurt, but you're not gonna be able to express yourself the way you want to express yourself. Here we have maybe too much expression. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyways. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I just wanted to share a little piece of my mind, you know, what was going on and what I'm feeling. So I hope you enjoyed this topic and this moment of me sharing, you know, and just know that not angry, not frustrated. I'm just where I am, and I'm just sharing my thoughts, because sometimes when we share, we heal pieces and parts of ourselves. There are parts that, you know, we don't think that are calling out, you know. And so, anyways, I just want to go over again real quick about, you know, the upcoming events that I'm facilitating, being part of on April 6th at 12:15 p.m. I'll be at the North Unitarian Universalist Church, and that's near Delaware there. And then I'll be at the Reiki Center on the 12th at 7 p.m. And then I'll be in 50 West in Chillicothe at 6 p.m. And I'll be in Ash Cave on the 27th from 11 to 4 p.m. That's the big baby of them all. And, you know, again, my book, you know, The Shaman's Path for Beginners. Highly recommend it for those of you who are curious about shamanism. And those of you who just like to draw and color and find little relaxations and things to just spend your time with. The Shamanic Coloring Book, you know, it has all kinds of cool stuff in it, as you can see. All kinds of things, you know. A lot of good responses from that. But anyhow, guys, that's about all I have for today. I wanted to share, and we'll be back, you know, next month, which is tomorrow, and sharing our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs. But anyhow, guys, you guys take care of yourselves, be well, and I will see you guys soon.